Wasn't giving her the attention she needed. Was living with my ex whom I was with for 3 years. She was working while I just started university. There was some miscommunication between my uni and the program that was funding my schooling, and the program covered my books and tuition but didn't not cover a living allowance. I didn't want her to be on the hook for all the costs of living, so I got a part-time job, picking up as many shifts as I could, evenings and weekends, until the funding situation was straightened out. So between waking up at 5 in the morning to get ready for uni and catch the city bus to make to school in time, and immediately coming home, change into my work clothes, head out the door and working till 11 at night, plus still having to do uni homework after my work shift, so needless to say I was a tad busy. I knew this situation was temporary and told her as much, that we would have more time together once this funding thing was straightened out. I didn't not work every day after uni cause I did want to spend time with her. She was my best friend and I thought everything was going great considering the tight schedule. Having been run ragged for 3 months, the funding situation was finally straightened out and I received back pay for the months that were missed, and I immediately went to the office of our apartment building and paid 3 months rent in advance to alleviate the financial pressure we had, and also so we would have more time together. That same week when I paid the advanced rent, I was scheduled to work that weekend, and since I didn't want to leave my co-workers high and dry, I took the shifts, but I knew I was going to take less shifts after that weekend. Since I was working, the ex-GF said was gonna go out with a couple of her co-workers and have a girls' night. I was fine with that since I was going to be busy anyway. We hadn't had S-time in a couple weeks. 1 week due to her time of the month and the other week we just didn't, so I figured we would fool around before she left, just so we would part ways for the evening on a high note. As we were laying in bed, talking, caressing, I started the foreplay, which was the usual initiation that lead to S-time. As I placed my hand down her pants, she stopped me before I touched her, but it was far enough down to feel that she had freshly shaven down there. I like my woman with some hair down there, which she always had with me. I asked her why she shaved and she responded with, "I dunno, just wanted to." I could always tell when she was lying, and I knew at that point she was lying, and told her, "You aren't going to some girls' night out, are you?" She reiterated that she was, but I knew different, so she left and I was left with my thoughts at home trying to sleep for work the next day. The next day I texted her the usual good morning text, to which she didn't reply. I went to work with my head still swimming and texting her periodically throughout the day, all of which were ignored. This all but confirmed my suspicions. I finally just texted, "We need to talk," and left it at that. She left Friday evening and didn't come home till Monday afternoon. We finally were face to face and I flat out said, "How long have you been cheating on me?" She said she was with a guy over the weekend but they didn't sleep together. Yeah, fucking right. I asked her how could do this to me. She said, "'Cause how busy you have been, you haven't been giving me the attention I need," and he had. I told her that we were done, but I said I wasn't moving out until I got my money back. Remember the 3 months in advance rent pay. The apartment lease was in her name, so I knew I would have to be the one to go. As anger and depression set in and I completely stopped going to uni and work and started drinking heavily, I tried to the cohabitating thing for a week and a half, but I started drinking heavily and it was out of control. I was only hurting myself, so I knew I had to get out of that duct up. The next day I called my brother to come get me and my belongings, and I asked her to pay me back eventually, that it doesn't have to be all at once. I knew I wouldn't see a dime back, which I haven't, but that's not the part that chaps my ass. It's the fact that she was living in a place that was paid for by me and she could now freely bring body there whenever she wanted is what gets me. Lol, I had to move back to my mom's place and start my life over again. Which I have, and also met a great girl whom I have been with for 7 years now, and she is the best thing that has ever happened to me. It sucks, but it gets better with time, folks. The ex-GF is a drug-addicted single mother now. Seriously? So Karma is M the fucker. Story 2. Has anyone seen a connection between your so's friends cheating on their partners before you discovered your so was cheating? Pretty much asking if the "you are who you hang out with" cliché holds any weight. I am 25 and my GFF 25 have been dating for 5 years. I want to start by saying she has never given me a real reason not to trust her, and we have always been very open with each other. I recently received some information through a friend that has made me a bit nervous and wanted some feedback if my concern was valid. My GF has a group of girls, 8 or 9, that she is friends with from college, and they plan trips every now and then so they can all see each other. I don't know any of them really well, but out of those girls I know for a fact 5 of them and possibly a 6th are all in relationships, including my GF. She has told me before that guys will always try to talk to them, and sometimes she said her single foreshadowing friends will hook up with someone. This led to her explaining how this meant the other girls would wind up getting stuck talking to the guy's friends that her single. Can you see where this is going? Friend was hooking up with. She made it seem like it was a big inconvenience and all her friends would be annoyed about it. So they just got back from the trip, and I heard the same story that I do every time she gets back from above. I just found out yesterday that one of her friend's boyfriends discovered that his GF cheated on him during this trip. He looked through her phone and found texts of her talking in a group chat with all of these girls about the guy she was hooking up with, and her saying she was losing track of how many guys she kissed at the bar, etc. I don't know him well, but from what I hear he's a good guy and they have been living together and dating for years. I saw the texts through a mutual friend and it honestly made me sick. Some of these other girls who are even in relationships were encouraging it, and one even said she's so proud. Proud of what? Then when the girl who was found out said she got caught by her boyfriend looking through her phone, the way they completely turned everything around on him. What a psycho for looking through your phone. He must have some real issues. You did nothing wrong, you just kissed a few people hello and got some numbers. I was dying laughing after reading that last one. Not in a "this is hilarious" way, but that this girl is saying that and actually believes it is okay to do that in a relationship she is in one. Then, in an attempt I guess to minimize the gravity of what she did, she started telling this guy all the things her friends have done to their boyfriends. Things along the lines of, all I did was make out with this guy at the bar this one time, on the last ski trip, insert girl with boyfriend's name had time with 2 different people. Things like that. She named 2 other girls, not my GF, as having had time with other people while they were dating their boyfriends over the last few years, and more or less said all the girls flirt with guys at the bars and groups of guys always come back to their Airbnbs. News to me. I have not confronted my GF on any of this information, and she has not offered it to me either. She is just going through business as usual, which is a bit scary to me considering the crisis unfolding in her friend's relationship. My GF was not named in any of this, and I didn't see any texts from her that were incriminating. That being said, realistically, how likely is it that out of all these girls who seem to actively encourage each other to do stuff like this, my GF is the only one who was never influenced? I feel cheaters only hang out with other cheaters as a way to help justify their actions with a "well, everyone is doing it" approach. I understand she probably didn't want to tell me things to not make her friends look bad, but that is a massive red flag for me. I want to confront my GF, but not exactly sure how to without outright accusing her of cheating on me. Was thinking of trying to word it in a way that makes it seem like I already know everything, and make her confess if she did anything. Not really sure what the best approach is, and any advice on how to navigate this would be appreciated. Update: Has anyone seen a connection between your so's friends cheating on their partners before you discovered your so was cheating? Hi everyone, wanted to start by saying thank you for all of the support I received on my last post. I wish I had found this community earlier, when I went through infidelity in my last relationship. I read through almost all of the replies, and to those who reached out on chat I am sorry I did not respond. I am not totally sure how that works and if I accepted it if I would get a virus or something lol. I am not sure how to link the original post, but if anyone wants to see it you can look at my post history, or if someone can link in the comments below. Apologies if the update is long, but want to get all the details in. So there were a lot of suggestions to reach out to the boyfriend who discovered all of this initially. I thought the same thing, but I was a bit hesitant since he told this mutual friend in confidence. I didn't want him to think he was going around and airing out his dirty laundry. Regardless, I think it is best to hear the info from the source and not a third party, so I got his info and reached out yesterday. His story was eerily similar to mine in the sense of what his girlfriend tells him when they get back from these trips and how nothing else seems off. He told me he just had a gut feeling and went through her phone while she was in the shower. So what he did, which I thought was pretty genius, is he knew he didn't have a lot of time to go through her phone because, as he put it, it's attached to her at all times. He started a screen recording on her phone and just scrolled through everything, then sent it to himself so he could look through everything later. Once he saw what the messages said, he kicked his girlfriend out of the apartment and she went to her parents. She came back the next day apologizing. This is when she threw her friends under the bus and he said he wanted to see her phone again. She refused but eventually gave in and she deleted nothing lol. This is where he saw the messages and the screenshots of what I saw of her telling the girls how she got found out, etc., and them telling her he was nuts and she did nothing wrong. There were other messages after that I didn't see of them all coming up with a cover story. Needless to say, he kicked her out, but he didn't go into much more detail on their relationship status, and I didn't want to press him on that too much. When he went through her phone the second time, he was looking for more proof of what he found the first time, since they have multiple group chats and backup for her claims about her friends, so he could tell everyone else. He did his screen recording thing again, and this time went through literally everything and had a recording for all of it. No joke, it is over 30 minutes of just scrolling through messages, Snapchat, Instagram, etc. Well, he sent it to me in a few parts and she was definitely not lying. There is tons of messages of them talking about it, videos of them dancing with guys at the bar, pictures of them with the guys at the Airbnbs, etc. Just irrefutable evidence emo. Now the question is, how does this affect me? Well, I went through everything he sent me multiple times. Two important things I noticed when going through everything. First, I was under the impression there was one main chat that these girls and my girlfriend all spoke in. There is multiple, and my girlfriend and a few other girls are excluded from these. Although my girlfriend is still in some where these talks were happening. Second, I didn't see any messages from my girlfriend actively participating in these talks. It seems like it is the same few girls who are always talking in these chats. However, I did see one picture of my girlfriend posing with some random guy at the bar. In a normal context, this picture would be a bit frustrating, but at the end of the day we have a 5-year relationship, where I am planning on marrying this girl. I'm not going to break up with her over a picture that really could be nothing. That being said, this is not a normal context and my mind is all over the place on what this picture means. That picture is really the only evidence I have of anything inappropriate from my GF directly, and it barely is evidence. There was some messages under the picture that I did not follow, as I think they were some kind of inside jokes, since they didn't really make any sense. Unfortunately for me, I asked the boyfriend if he could ask the girl about my girlfriend directly, and he said that once he told her he was going to be telling all the other guys, she completely shut down and is denying anyone ever did anything wrong now or that she said anything. I am just at a loss and not sure what to do. My GF is currently staying with her parents, since she won't see them for Easter next weekend. I have been keeping up appearances, but it has been very taxing mentally to do so. I obviously will be having a conversation with her about it, but I think it needs to be done in person so I could actually get a read on her. I haven't spoke to anyone about it directly as I am honestly just totally embarrassed about it, but some family and friends are starting to notice that something is off. I just wanted to hear her side first. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, show me your friends and I'll show you yourself. Redditor follow-up, succinct truth. Druggies hang with other junkies. Alcoholics gather together with drunks. Cows, zebras, llamas herd. Birds flock. Fish school. Cheaters able cheaters. Redditor 2. There is a correlation of those whose friends cheat and those that end up cheating. It normalizes the behavior to the point that it puts them on the slippery slope, where boundaries start being crossed. It's okay if I flirt and dance with this guy. I'm not kissing him like GF1 is or sleeping with him like GF2. Well, it's only a kiss. Add in some FOMO and the next thing you know you definitively cheated by slowly crossing multiple boundaries. Contrast that with another group of friends where no one cheats and everyone at least appears devoted to their so. How likely is someone in that group going to be actively picking up people with those friends present? Your friends do have a lot of influence on your behavior. I assume your GF knows their BFs and is social with them at least. Could you interact with someone often if you knew their partner was cheating on them? Even if that partner was a friend? I'd think most people would either out the affair or disengage from the couple. I'd be concerned that she hasn't pulled away from this group herself if this is the typical behavior on girls' trips. That is the conversation you should be having. Why was she okay with what her friends were doing in her presence? Redditor 3, I mean, even if your GF isn't cheating, which I find very hard to believe at this point, at the very least she's enabling her friends and they're cheating. Going as far as making up cover stories in case the boyfriends get suspicious. Keeping all the boyfriends distant was a strategy move. They were all helping each other. She's complicit, and honestly, she could just be better at hiding it than the others. You just got lucky and found this out because one of the other friends slipped up. Think about this, she would have never told you these things of her own volition. She's lied to you every time regarding what happened on these trips. It's not like it's a one-off. These are multiple trips over the span of a few years where this behavior is happening and she's right there with it. Redditor 4, your girlfriend doesn't know what the other boyfriend has told you or the evidence you have. I know it's only smoke at the moment and you don't have concrete proof, but you have to play the game here. Show her you have the messages but only scroll them, don't give her the access. Then tell her you've had some very interesting conversations with the other boyfriend and things have come out. Tell her that she needs to be honest because you'll know if she's lying. Tell her that, if she tells the truth then there is a chance, but if she lies then it's over. You will know from her reaction. She will, no doubt, try to get you to tell her what you know. Don't break, tell her it doesn't work that way and that all you want is honesty. The bluff doesn't always work, but it works more often than not. Hopefully she has not been part of the cheat group and you guys can move on from this. Good luck. Redditor follow-up, this is a really good strategy, if you are willing to walk away on gut instinct. Don't reveal a thing. Let her do all the talking. Once in a while maybe scroll through the text chain and say something like okay. Go on. I'm fairly certain if she's cheating this will anger her. First she'll be angry you aren't sharing your info. Then she'll be angry you talked to him, then probably angry at others. One big clue is if she dismisses your concern. Even if she didn't cheat, she should be able to realize how you could view or feel about the situation. Dismissing your concern is the beginning of gaslighting. If she's willing to do that, she'll dismiss any info you can show her. If you're not willing to walk away, you'll just be hopeful and looking for a reason to believe. You'll burn your source, and have nothing to show for it. Collect more info and wait. Redditor 5, don't be accusatory, especially with little evidence. Explain how you heard about the third-party girl and how you reached out to the guy to learn more. Explain your position in that she did not share any of this information about what happened to the friend and it made you insecure, especially when you heard multiple members of this group of friends were ousted. Try to focus on the concern this brought to you and ask great questions about these relationships and how it would make her feel if she found out all of this about your friends that you didn't tell her about. At the end of the day, hopefully it's a lesson to her that it's time to grow up, and if this relationship will last, it must start on a foundation of trust and honesty. Where she goes from here with those friends is TBD, but you certainly don't want to become controlling here. Hopefully, this starts a really in-depth conversation that takes your relationship to the next level and opens her eyes to the hopefully unintended threats she is putting on her relationship. Ready to follow up. At the end of the day, hopefully it's a lesson to her that it's time to grow up, and if this relationship will last, it must start on a foundation of trust and honesty. Hasn't that ship sailed already? The relationship started 5 years ago. Where she goes from here with those friends is TBD, but you certainly don't want to become controlling here. Yes, God forbid you be considered controlling, so I suggest burning this entire thing to the ground. She may not have been in some of the chats, but she was there in person for everything else and never said a word, even if she didn't cheat on you. Which you'll never really know. Redditor 6, my ex-wife had a co-worker that had cheated on her husband. At some point my ex-wife became friends with this lady. After I discovered my ex-wife's affairs, she told me that this woman had cheated on her husband as well. I objected to her being friends with this woman as we were trying to reconcile. She didn't see the issue. No surprise, we are now divorced as my ex-wife cheated again. So I definitely think it's true the people you associate with become your future. And now this woman has become a fixture in my ex-wife's life. They share memberships to places, spend time together, so no doubt my ex will continue cheating on whoever she ends up with in the future. Redditor 7, if you're concerned about that one guy in the picture, you could show her the photo of his face and ask if she knows him. Saying this guy randomly messaged you saying some stuff about her and the girl's trip where they met, and you want her side of the story. Redditor 8, while there isn't implicit evidence of cheating, you will always be guessing. That is because her friend group is not supportive of any relationship that involves being faithful. If you get married, you will always wonder what she is doing with these friends. Your mental health will take a beating. Her friends have to go, but she has to make that decision, not you. Calmly have a discussion with her about your concerns. How would she feel if all your friends actively supported cheating? Gauge her reaction. Edit for spelling. Whatever you do, do not marry her until this has been resolved. Redditor follow-up, do not even talk seriously about getting engaged until this has been resolved.